Hello and welcome to the CloudHub introduction video where we will show you how easy it is to sign up for CloudHub and start using it with your apps. First thing you need to do is go to cloudhub.tk and click on the sign up button in order to create a new account. And here you can fill out your various personal information as well as choose an email address and also a password. Once you do that, you can choose which plan you want to sign up for, but for this video we will just be using the free plan to get started and learn how it works. Once you sign up, you will be taken to our dashboard page, and in order for us to create an app to start working with, we choose add a new app from the drop-down list. In this list it will show you all of your apps as well as a button on how to create a new app, and this little bar can be found on top of every page in the dashboard. So here we will click on create a new app, and we can choose an app name from which to identify it with. And once we create that app, we will be presented with a success message giving us our app name as well as our API key with that app, which we will use when creating apps. So now I have created a simple web page here where someone can enter their name. When they submit it, it submits it to a database on the back end, and it can also retrieve names. And here's our little JavaScript code in order to be able to do this. And now to create the two functions we can use with CloudHub. So if we go back to CloudHub and click on the Getting Started page, this will allow us to choose from different code snippets in order to copy and paste into our app to make it easier. So the first thing we want to do is add an object to CloudHub. So I will copy this AJAX call. And once I do that, I will come back to my code and paste it into my function. And there are a few fields we need to fill out here in order to get it working correctly. One is the client ID, app name, and also the table name. Now in order to find the client ID, if we go back to CloudHub and click on the account page, we can find our client ID under user information. So we'll just copy and paste that into our REST URL. We will also enter the name of the app that we have created, and also a table that we want to store our names in. And we'll just call this simply names. And also we also need to provide the API key for our app, which was presented to us on sign up, but in order to find it again, we simply go back and choose our app again and click on app settings. We can see our app name and also our API key for that app. So we will copy and paste that into our AJAX call. And now we also need to create information to put in there. So we want to create a column called names in order to store names in, and also we will pass in the username that we will pass through our JavaScript call in order to store in our CloudHub backend. Also on success, we will just write a simple alert to tell us that we have succeeded in putting the name in our CloudHub database. And if there is a problem, we will also present an alert that just tells us that we failed. And we'll just call it fail simply. And that's it. We are now able to store stuff into our CloudHub database. We also need this function to get names out of the database. And in order to do that, we will simply go back to our Getting Started page at CloudHub and click on Get Object. And we will copy this code and paste it into our JavaScript call. And once we do that, there are a few things we still need to fill out. Again, we need our client ID and app name and table name, which we will just copy from our previous call. And we also need to insert our API key as well, which we just copy and paste from our previous call again. And we can also add various queries here, but for this we will just get everything we put in the database since we're just simply putting a name. And I've created a little function here that will just say hello to each name that is in the database that is returned. So we will pass the return data to that function, and we'll also create an alert to let us know if there is a problem, and we'll simply call it fail again. And it's as simple as that. We have now created a way to store stuff to our CloudHub database and also retrieve things from our CloudHub database. So if we come to our little web page here and refresh it, we can enter a name and submit the name, and we can see our success function has been called. And if we click on Get Names, it will actually get the names from the database. So you can see here we have a Hello Jim, which is the name that we stored into our database. And we can also enter in a new name and submit that name. Another success. And if we click on Get Names, we can see we now have 2 names in our database. And it's as simple as that. If we now go back to cloudhub.tk, we can start seeing information in our dashboard about the app we have created. So if we click on the analytics page, we can see that we now have daily API calls showing up. We now have 4 that we have used in our app that we've been doing. If we go to the data store and choose our app and click on the table name that we have created, we can also see the data that is in our MongoDB database. And these tables, we can actually alter them and it will change them live in the backend. So let's change the name Jim to Jimmy. And we can see that the update was successful. And if we go back to our app and click on Get Names, you can see that now Jim has been changed to Jimmy when we return. We also provide a console for users to test their REST calls, where you can actually choose the type, URL, parameters, and headers, and when you execute it, you can actually see what's being returned. And on all of our dashboard pages, we have a little help button where if you click on that help, it'll take you through a tour of the dashboard. And that's all we have for you today. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy CloudHub.